my gosh, this always happens. Where am I? Here we go. All right, going live. Phew, I think I did it. Hello, my name is Raquel, and this is Paints and Glitter for anyone rewatching this. What else is new? My intros. Oh, I'm going to wait and see if anyone joins me. It's going to be a minute because I'm trying to make sure that my camera is facing the correct way. And I need to find my own video so I can see the chat. Oh, this is... Yeah, this is... Okay, so I see there's someone here, so bear with. I'm just trying to do a little bit of housekeeping, and that means making sure that this camera is pointed in the right direction.
You want it to from this perspective? Or your perspective?
I can't change it now. It's too
okay.
late. I mean, once it's up there, it's up there.
Right.
Hello, thank you for your patience. I'm just trying to find my video. I need to enter YouTube here, so bear with me, guys, because I can't use my own account because when I try to, it won't let me see. Hello, Tanya. Here we go. Okay, so at least, whoops, sorry about that. At least I entered the chat, or I mean, I found the video. Okay, and it looks like I'm still upside down. Yes, I am. Okay, so let's go for the ride. I'm gonna try to, every time that I put my camera up, it's always upside down, no matter what I do. Oh, wow, you're making flowers, Tanya. That's awesome. Okay, so the good news is that I'm able to flip this around. Hopefully this makes more sense, and that'll be better because then that means that I can actually, okay. Whew, all right, so I'm gonna do a second intro in the event that I can edit this portion out. So hello, my name is Raquel. This is Paints and Glitter. I welcome you to my channel. And this is the third video in a series that I'm hoping to do for the amount of time that it takes to reach 5,000 subscribers. I'm hoping that it's not too long. So what I am doing here is, as you can see, my table is full of little snippets of paper. I've got some ink. I have got myself, hello Beverly. I've got myself some different inks. I've got some daubers, and I've got a set of dies here. These are, now I had done a little bit of shopping back in December, Christmas time, and I picked up some floral dies, and what I did was I basically went through the list of little flowers that I was seeing online, and of course, one of the brands that I really like to use when it comes to florals is Elizabeth Craft Designs. They carry this brand at scrapbook.com, which you will see linked in the description bar of this video. And so what I did was I went through that list and I picked out some little flowers that I knew I didn't already have. Now what I mean by that is that the petal shapes seemed a little bit different to me than what I already have in my collection of dies, so I went ahead and picked them up. This happens to be Florals 16. Now, I didn't necessarily pick anything that was, you know, new from the latest release. In fact, I still haven't gotten those because she does have newer dies. But that's the case with every single company. Every month they put out new dies. Playing catch up is not always, you know, necessary, nor do I recommend it all the time unless you have the budget for it. Now, in my case, I don't, so I have to be very careful, and that's what I do. I shop accordingly, right? So far, okay, what I can tell you is that I cut out the petals here. So you see this one here. Let me share with you the size. What I have here, okay, so this one's about a 3-inch in diameter set of petals. Then this one is, I would say 2 inches, maybe a little bit larger than that. And then the smallest one here is going to be, it's coming in at 1 3/4, a little bit smaller than that. And then what I really like about this is that there's this little set here. They look as a one piece because it's, you know, kind of one die, but it does cut out separately. And then there's the little floral centers, and then 2 separate leaves, which I appreciate also because it gives you a little more flexibility as to how you make your little bouquet. So here's the grouping. Of course, that's a sample picture, but you don't have to go by that. You do whatever you like, right? Now, if you've seen my other videos already, which I think both of you ladies have been here for those, and I didn't have a moment to, share this video. So if you want to go ahead and share the link in your social media groups, wherever you share crafty news, then of course I welcome you to do so. But in any case, in the other videos, what I shared was groupings of flowers that I'm putting together in a little box. So that way, when this channel reaches 5,000 subscribers, that box of flowers and however many more I make, of course, is going to go to a US winner. And then if I'll pick a winner from overseas, because my channel does have viewers from all over the world. So then that person will get a gift card to Tonic Studios. And it's just a way to say thank you to my subscribers. The same way that I have some cards going out from my last live, which happened to be yesterday. So how fun was that? So yesterday's live was using one of the Tonic Craft Kits. And then today we're going to proceed with the flowers. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to separate out the ones that I've cut, because this is what I was just doing, which is why I didn't come along at 2 p.m. was because I had to do all this cutting. And what I've done here is, and you may have noticed already, is that I cut out the little flower centers using regular cardstock. This happens to be Marigold card from Tonic Studios. It's a really vibrant, beautiful shade of yellow, kind of leaning toward orange. And so if you want a nice vibrant center to a flower and you already have paper that can do that for you, then of course, why not take advantage of that? The paper is about 80 pounds in weight. And then I also have 2 other styles here, or types of paper. One of them is watercolor, which I had recommended in past videos, so that if you want to do any coloring with, of course, water-based media, then the paper will actually withstand the amount of water that you're going to be throwing at it. And that's just a phrase I use. But the other paper is just regular 65-pound cardstock that I have on hand, and that's what most people buy when you go to, a craft store. Most paper crafters have that weight, so I figured I may as well make some flowers in that weight of paper so that you can see the difference, and so that you can have a little bit of variety, because depending on where you're going to place these flowers, you may want a softer petal. So that's the reasoning behind doing the 2 different types of paper. So thank you, Beverly. It's, you know what, it's this channel wouldn't be what it is if I didn't have people tuning in to watch, right? So it stands to reason that, it's a thank you to the viewers is something that I should be doing. And I'm not, I'm not in the position to do huge giveaways and that sort of thing. And I'm also not a huge proponent of asking people to send me anything, because I'll get overwhelmed. I'll be completely honest. I will be so overwhelmed between the things that I already have to do. If I had to do more videos showing, things that came in the mail and that sort of thing, I would not want to disappoint anyone and say, you know what, I don't have time for that. Even though it would be a blessing, you know what I mean? But that's another reason behind my decision making, I suppose. So I think what I want to do here is I want to start off with the watercolor style of flower shaping, because I've done that already. So I might not have to repeat everything. However, of course, if anybody has questions, I'm happy to respond. And then I'm trying to think back of what I've already done. Not that any 2 flowers will ever look the same, because that's just how it goes, but I'm also using this paper shaping tool that I had mentioned in previous videos because it does make life a whole lot easier. It comes with different tips. It does come with a little foam base that you can use to shape your flowers regardless of the type of material that you're using. And then it comes with a little mat that you can use for any kind of heating that you want to do. And the tool itself, tweezers, two different kinds actually, if I'm not mistaken. It does come with both of them, and then little scissors should you want to do some detail work. So I find that to be quite handy. I love it when it is all in one place and I don't have to go looking for it. And I also like the fact that I can switch out the size of the little nibs that you use to actually shape the petals. To me, that is a win-win. I waited a while to get this tool because I already had others, but they're about, I was doing the math and I think they're about 15, 16 years old. So I was like, you know what? It's okay to get another set at this point. So enough of that. Let's go ahead and look at here some options. I went ahead and grabbed some colors from Catherine Pooler inks that I have on hand, and I also have some archival inks. Now, these are water-based inks, okay? And then these are permanent and waterproof when dry. So it's a fun thing to mix and match the different inks that you might have on hand and see what type of results you get. And of course, that all depends on how, you know, how elaborate you want to make your little flowers. Not that you have to, but I think what I want to do here is I'm going to grab a brush and I thought I had those out already. Here they are. Okay, so I've got my little bag of watercolor brushes. Hello, Mari. Thank you for being here. We're making flowers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a square or flat brush. Doesn't really matter. It depends on what you're comfortable with. And I'm going to move some of these things aside because I don't want them to get messy. So what I'm going to do is try to remember the color of the other flowers. I don't want the person who wins to be disappointed, so I don't want to be too repetitive in the colors. You know what I mean? I was thinking like a rainbow of colors, so that way whoever wins will be happy with having the variety. So here's the little box I had shared before, and that's where I had placed some of the flowers. So if you haven't seen that video, those are the first ones that I made, which were really dainty and has little specks of gold in them and that. And of course I made, you know, a grouping that were smaller. I made a really big one there. And then I also made in the last video the little tulips. So in case you're wondering what it is that I'm even talking about. Now these I did with Nuvo Embellishment Mousse. So that way they would have a bit of sheen. So if you want to know how those are made, of course, those videos are already available. You can go back and watch. And now, having seen that there's quite a bit of pink in there, let's go for the orange. I'm going to do some orange. L'orange. Okay, so this is called Tutti Frutti. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this on here. And let's see, where's my water? Here it is. And I'm just going to make a pool of color there, right? And I'm just going to load my brush here. Now this is supposed to be fun, all right? So there's not going to be any science behind any of this stuff. It's just fun. And if you don't know anything about water-based or inks or watercolor, what's cool about it is that you can layer to your heart's content so long as your layers are allowed to dry, okay? You can also remove color if you wet your first layer or, you know, second layer too much. So you do have to be careful about that. But what I really like about it is that you can start off kind of, you know, nice and light. And light doesn't mean it can't be vibrant, but, you know, just a light wash of color. and then let it pool if you want to have some of that texture once it's drying, and then just go from there. So I'm going to do all of these. This is the largest petal, as I had mentioned before. And I hope everyone's having a wonderful Friday. I know some of you were able to take a sneak at the live video from Tonic Studios this morning, mid-morning, I should say. But if you're not familiar with that, or if you just don't watch those live videos, I do have to announce that next week is March Madness at Tonic Studios, so there's going to be quite a bit to show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Live videos Monday through Thursday. You're not going to want to miss them. And of course, on this channel, there are going to also be videos, including tutorials, all week, starting Monday and going through. I think I'm going to let it go through to either Friday or Saturday. Although I'm kind of conflicted on that because I don't know if I want to be publishing a video on Good Friday, to be completely honest. I might refrain from that. I don't know. Okay, so there's that one. And a couple more here. And then once I get these, then I will start the medium-sized ones. Okay. And then we'll do the smaller flowers because I'm going to be doing them a bit graduated. And it's looking like I need a lot of ink, but let's see here. The other thing you can do is use re-inkers if you happen to have any. So if, for instance, if you're the type of person that likes the oxide inks and you collect those and get the re-inkers every time they have a release, then by all means just use your re-inkers to do this type of coloring. So that one's quite a bit light, and I don't want to, if you're seeing me wipe this, is because I don't ever want to put the ink on water if there's water on my surface, because that, when you introduce water into any kind of medium like that, you have the potential of getting mold, believe it or not, on your inks and that sort of thing, and I like to keep it clean. So if anything, if you're even afraid of that, then you can always use distilled water, but I'm quite happy with just wiping down my table here. Now here, there was a tiny bit of adhesive here, and I think that's from the, yep, that was from the low tack tape. So I have to make sure to take that off. All right, so that went from light to dark quite quickly. All right, so while that's airing out, I'm going to move on to the little ones here, because I think I can get these done a little bit faster. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, so I'm hoping to have 5 flowers when it's all said and done. I thought I was going to have 6, but I'm referring to the watercolor paper ones. I'm gonna load my little table here. Is that a baby? Why'd you erase your comment, Beverly? Is that a baby? I'm being a little bit purposely adding more color to these guys, just in case you notice that. Because this is going to be more toward the center of the flower, okay? And then lastly, this one. Okay. So the other thing is, depending on how you shape your flower, you may want to make sure that you color both sides. Not that you have to color them, you know, in the same intensity or anything, but just in case you want to add a bit of movement to your petals, it's never a bad idea. And again, this is watercolor card. You may want to do this with just regular double-sided cardstock and then spare yourself any of the coloring. But I actually like the results of this type of flower. I think it's worth the effort. And any excuse to pick up a paintbrush, in my opinion, is a good thing. I don't mind it whatsoever. Just gonna wet that a little more. Pick up whatever's there, and there we are. So you see there's quite a bit of, you can get a lot done with a very small amount of ink. In case you're wondering why invest in something like an ink pad, I was looking at the prices of these earlier today, and they're about $5.25, dollars per each one. But considering how much you can actually get out of them, I think they're pretty cool. Not too shabby. All right, so now I'm gonna go on to the next layer. And it's gonna seem like I'm, repeating, but I promise you it'll switch up in a minute. Well, there's my other flower. I knew I had 6. Okay, so I should have 6 total of all, not 5. I hope I wasn't too out of frame. Let me zoom out a tiny bit. I'm getting watercolor on my phone, but that's okay. Woohoo! Maybe like that. All right, so I'm going to wet these. There we go. Okay, this is going to be a little bit lighter because I am picking up that color, but it's landing on water. Okay, it's quite a bit lighter than that one in that little small petal. So of course there's no rule that says that every petal on your flower has to be the same exact shade, because sometimes depth can be created just by varying the intensity of the color, just like if you were looking at a painting, and that's a lot of fun too, because you can create quite a bit of contrast that way. So that's this layer, and now I'm going to make sure this one's quite intense. So let me do that over here. I'm picking up water. I know you guys can't see the water, but I do have quite a bit of water here. Okay, so back to that intensity on that. And then these guys can get a tiny wash on the back. I'm going to wet them again. Okay, that looks good to me. Now, if I had a thinner cardstock, I'd be a little bit more careful. I'm not being too careful because this is watercolor card, but you still have to be mindful when you're moving it around not to accidentally tear those petals. Wipe this all down now. I've got all of the base color on every single one. And to switch up the colors here, I also have little leaves that I've cut out using the same type of paper, which again is watercolor cardstock or watercolor paper, however you want to refer to that. So for this, what I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to switch it up here. So I have some archival ink. This is called leaf green, ironically, or maybe aptly. I'm going to just take a little brush, okay, load it, and I'm going to color the edges here. And remember, when this dries, this is actually going to be waterproof. So if I want to layer anything on top of that, I can still use a water-based ink because this is watercolor paper. But then it's not going to move this color around. This will be permanent on it, which is really cool. And of course, you know, you decide how much of this you put on it and all that good stuff. One more. Okay. All right. So for this, grab another ink. You can grab an oxide ink. And I can use a stamp. Let me see if this is actually, yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'm gonna use a stamp here. I don't think this stamp is clean. I'm gonna go ahead and do this because it's just gonna give it, this is just stippling. It's a really old Stampin' Up stamp that I happen to have, and I love using it when I'm doing flowers or leaves because it saves me time. I could either take a paintbrush and just flick it, or do this, which is going to be the same exact thing. A little bit more convenient, of course, because then I can decide kind of where it lands and all that good stuff. So there's some leaves with the oxide, and then I can go back to this darker color. This is library green. I'm just going to wipe this down quickly. Just wiping down the stamp that I just used. And now mind you, depending on the project that you're making, you don't have to use a stamp like this. You can use script. You can use anything that repeats itself, really. It doesn't truly matter. It's all on what type of textures you like. I'm just making sure that I get everybody here. Okay. So once the leaves have that, and I'm going to show you guys a close-up in just a moment, because I know you probably can't see too much of this. But this is what those leaves are already looking like. So if you see, it has the color on the edge, then it has the lighter stippling on there, and then also the darker. So with just one stamp, I'm able to create all of that texture, and I haven't even shaped anything yet, which is really fun. Now I can do the same thing on the centers of these flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and use the same color because I think it's going to make a really pretty contrast with this orangey color here that we did. And this is going to be the largest petal in this flower, and it's also going to be all the way to the back once everything else is layered on top of it. So I got that darkest color on those large petals, and I should have wiped this down. Bear with me 1 second. Let me move this out of the way. Trying to sometimes work a little bit too fast. Okay. Although I don't think it would ruin anything, but just to try to keep the flowers looking a little bit consistent here. Okay, so wipe that down. I'm going to use the same exact stamp again. And yes, there are, oh, hi Sandra. Sandra, I need your address. You sent me a message, but you never gave me your address. So I literally have your card like inches away from me, waiting for an address. All right, so I switched over to leaf green, which was that lighter of the greens that I'm using again. And then this is going to go on that medium sized petal. And it's quite lighter. So I'm going to do like a combination of both. Can't tell which, I think this was the front of that flower. I accidentally had it upside down. Add a tiny bit more on there. Here we go. And then I'm going to go back to that darker one. And I'm going to try to be a little bit more selective there. Not add too much of that dark color, but just a little touch of it. And I realize it's not centered. That's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. There's that. And then the darkest little petal can be the same way with that darker color again. Here we are. Now I have this archival ink that is the color of vermilion. And what I'm going to do is, let's set these aside a moment. Need a little bit of room here. I'm going to take a separate brush and I'm going to aim at the outside of these petals. Hello, Susie. Well, I hope these videos are helpful. And now I'm just going to blend this color only on the tips of those petals, okay? All right, so hopefully you're seeing a difference there from here to there. I hope you can see something different there. Let me zoom in a little bit more, actually. There we go. Just going to do this on all of them. So of course, if you work in what's the name of that when you do something in a line? I forgot. I know there's a phrase for that and I forget what it's called. Mark? Oh, never mind. I thought my husband was right out the door or outside the door. Somebody help me out. What's the name of that when you do something all in a line? I forgot the word for that. So, is that your YouTube? Oh yes, ladies, don't forget to follow each other on social media. So if you have a channel and you want someone to come watch your content, by all means, let everyone know if you go by the handle you're using right now or if you happen to have a different one. Okay? So another thing that you'll notice is, for instance, the type of dye that I use today leaves a little bit of a ridge on the end. I think you can see it there. So the ink is going to actually highlight that as well. So if that's something that you like, then you might enjoy that little feature also. I know some people don't like that, but I don't mind it at all. I don't care if people know that I'm using a paper flower in my crafts, because I think it's quite obvious when, you know, you're paper crafting that chances are what's on there is a piece of paper. And I also think it can be quite impressive to make a paper flower look somewhat real, you know? Not that it has to be exactly like the real thing, but should get some points for effort, right? All right, so these are still quite wet, just to let you guys know. So I'm being a little more careful because I don't want to damage the integrity of those little petals, of course. And thank you so much, Sandra. Oh, hello, Mama Pillow. Yes, assembly line. I knew that was a word. Thank you. I could not remember how to say that. I don't know why. I try to blame it on the bilingual brain, but the truth of the matter is that I just forget. Can't use that as an excuse all the time. Okay. These will be a little bit less obvious, but still there is a difference between that orange that I placed on there and the red. So I think it's worth adding that little bit on the edge. And what I'm hoping to do is create a nice vibrant flower. It is snowing outside, guys. Snowing! That does not make me happy. So I'm like, you know what? Let's warm the day up with a bit of bright, warm color, because I know for me that makes a difference, you know, to look at something pretty and vibrant and imagine myself in the Caribbean when I can't be there. So the other option I was going to mention, the other option of what you can do here, of course, is that you can use stamens in the center instead of these little die cut pieces. But I do think the shape of them is so very pretty that I think I'm going to be quite pleased. So snow. Oh yes, it's I live in upstate New York, and I can see Canada from my window. This is an inside joke. Anyway, yeah, I can see Lake Ontario is not too far from here. So we get snow one way or another. Doesn't matter. Who cares that it's spring? Although someone this morning was saying that they got a lot of snow. And I was wondering where she was from, because, you know, we're supposed to get ice and all that good stuff. I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, so I'm just going to clear this off for a moment. Have a sip of tea. Bear with. Gotta have my chai. Makes everything better. All right. Then, look at my fingers. This is the result, by the way, right? That's what always happens. So, okay, so I'm reading here. Sandra's saying you use solid core colored paper, never use printed paper. No worries. When you're using, are you referring, Sandra, for flower making? I'm curious now. And mind you, I did say that I cut these out of the regular weight paper, and they're over here being neglected. So I apologize about that, but that's just how this video is going right now. I was thinking of making these ultra textured. I think I want to go in that direction today. So, oh, okay. Yeah, I love to see the results that different people get. It's so much fun. I'm looking here at my tools. Okay. So let's go in this direction, okay? All right, I know I added water to these and I let them dry, okay? You can also do this, right? I just wet this. Let me see. What I'm afraid of is that I don't want to remove too much color from these. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go that way. I was going to make these ultra tattered, but the issue with that is that it's gonna take a whole lot of time and it's gonna end up, excuse me, I lost my voice. It's gonna end up taking a really long time. So what I'm doing here is I'm testing how much give each one of these petals is gonna have if I just wet them. Okay, and of course you can test that out because not all watercolor papers are the same. Yeah. I just these are wide on the outer edge there, but then not so you can tell the inner portion of this flower is not very wide at all. So what I don't want to do is that I don't want to inadvertently ruin that shape. So I'm just taking that petal, letting it rest on the barrel of this spatula, and then just kind of pushing it in toward the center. And that can give me a nice little wave there. But I was hoping to add a little bit more texture. Let me see here. I'm afraid that I'll ruin the actual paper. Choices, choices. See if I can just saturate it from the back more. We shall see. Because I don't want to remove the color. Yeah, it's going to get all over my hands. All right, so it was probably in my best interest to use all our archival inks so that I could really play with these today. But let's just do a couple like this. Let's see where it takes us. Because I really, really like this petal shape. Okay, so I'm just holding on to that base in the center and then kind of pulling up with the barrel. Okay, and of course it's I don't want to fiddle with it too much. Oh, hello, Mandy. And I'm going to go toward the more narrow end here. So another little comment here that I would say to you is that the using the oxide ink in the center, for instance, if you end up spraying it again, as I just did, that would cause all of those little dots to travel all over the place and, you know, kind of ruin your flower, or they would just fade away. Whereas if you do the archival, because it's permanent once it dries, then you do have the opportunity to go ahead and add more water to shape your petals and all that good stuff, without ruining your flower there. But you're still going to get it all over your hands. So here's the other thing that I'm going to do, because I don't want to keep you guys here all day. I'm gonna find, okay, so I've got barrel, or you know, the tip is quite oh my gosh, the diameter is larger. Can't get my words out today. And I'm just going to press on this. Now this is still wet, okay? And I'm aiming toward the center of that petal. All right. And of course this is the back. Because I did want it to be far more crinkly than what I was doing there with that little barrel. And then I'm going to just press here in the center. Now, depending on how your die cuts it, you might get some of that fraying. All right, so I'm liking this better. The first little, you know, gentle shape there, that's all fine and good. I'm not bothered by that, but I really wanted more texture on that. So we're revisiting the same ones. Hello, hola chiquita. Thank you for coming back. I was told that I was super animated yesterday, and I'm like, really? I don't remember that. I'm like, well, I must have been on more caffeine than usual. I don't know. I don't remember if I had too much coffee. Maybe I was just in a good mood. Who knows? I just laughed at that. It was Melissa. She was like, Raquel, I watched your video. I've never seen you so animated. I'm like, oh my goodness. You should see me in a room full of Puerto Ricans. I have no idea. Yeah, good coffee. I keep it tame for YouTube. Are you serious? Oh my gosh. Because I'm always like, no, I think I'm quite chill. I don't know. At least here. So I don't want to make anyone dizzy talking with my hands and all that good stuff. All right, so I'm liking this much better. And these tools come in very handy because I do not have strong hands, guys. Those days are over. All right, so I do like all of that crinkly, you know, that crinkliness. I'm going to make that word, the crinkliness. I like the crinkliness. So I'm going to do that for these three. Just going to go ahead and saturate those quite a bit. But yeah, I love to drink a good cup of coffee, but I do that early in the morning, you know, when I first get up and start getting my day going. That's when I have my little cup of espresso or cappuccino or whatever. And then the rest of the day I'll sip on tea, have my chai, which I don't think has much caffeine at all. I don't know. Okay, so this is, I do realize this is quite repetitive in nature here, but I promise you the effort is worth it when you see the results in the end. Okay. And there are other companies out there, like Heartfelt Creations, for instance, that sells a mold that then you can put all your little petals in it and then run it through your die cut machine, and it'll do all of this at once. So if that's more, you know, your cup of tea, then of course you can do that. Of course, the molds, I don't know if they're transferable from one flower to another, to be completely honest. So I don't know what kind of results you would get if you mixed it up. If you know about that, if that's something that you do, please let us know in the chat, because I'd be curious to find out. Okay, so I know this is just the beginning of shaping there, but I'm going to continue on with these the medium-sized ones. And I'm going to do the same thing. Spray, spray, spray. And then I am going to use the same size little paper shaper here. Ball tool, that's the name of this. Because the petals are still, they're not too small. Okay, do that. there's 3. I'm gonna do 3 more. Flip, flip, flip. So years ago, I want to say, how long ago was it? I don't know. My son was little. Well, both of them, I should say. We went to Florida with my father. And it just so happens we were staying with friends, and as it goes, we would have like a cup of coffee in the morning, and then another cup of coffee in the afternoon, and then we'd go out, we would go to Disney, and then we'd come back in the night and have another cup of coffee. And at one point we were walking through the park. I think we were in downtown Disney or whatever. We were just being real snippy at each other, like, you know, just rude, outright rude to each other. And we couldn't figure out why we were both in such a bad mood. Because here we are at Disney, so, like, we have no excuse, right? And it turns out we were just running low on caffeine. So we ended up at Gloria Stefan's restaurant there that they had. I don't know if that's still there or not. I haven't been to Disney since. We both got ourselves a little pocillo, is a little coffee, the Cuban coffee. It's just like having nitro. And we were so happy after that. All the anger just dissipated. It went away. I was like, oh, that's all we needed. We were low on caffeine. That's all. It was our only problem. Oh my gosh. So let me, okay, so I'm reading here a comment. Heartfelt Creations is going out of business. Can buy discounted. Yes, I heard that. Now, I thought that the owner said that what they're doing is converting to digital. But correct me if I'm wrong. So, ooh, Chiquita's cooking, printing, and listening. Cool. Sounds good. All right, so I'm going to switch over to this little guy here, because I do want a smaller little ball tool now. Yeah, so that's my little commercial for Drink Coffee. It keeps families together. It's good. It's good for you. It's good for everyone else around you. Oh my gosh. At least that's my experience. All right, so I'm going to switch to this one. This is still quite similar to the size of the petal, right? But it is, I would say about 2 millimeters smaller than the other one at least. And this is, again, the back side of this petal. And then we're going to switch to the front. And then we're going to start putting a little bit of heat on these. All right. But I really love the results of that. In fact, I wish I had gone darker with the other ones, but that's okay. Move these to the side. And there's that. Now, let's see here. I'm always afraid to add heat to this, but what I think I want to do is put this right on top, because I do want to dry these a little bit. So Melissa, oh hi Melissa, I was just quoting you. I was just saying how you said I was so animated yesterday, and I'm like, I don't know what I did. Hold on 1 second. So the flowers that I'm using, I was telling, relating a caffeine story. Okay, so I knew that was gonna happen. Florals 16 from Elizabeth Craft Designs. And let me know, guys, if my lighting is okay. I get the feeling I need to move this over here a little bit. Yeah. So I was just telling everyone how I was in Florida with my father, and we're like biting each other's heads off, and then we had coffee, and we're so nice. We're so nice after that. Thank you. So I'm just gonna press on this. Now I'm going to try to dry it off a little bit because they are still quite wet. All right. Now, I don't recommend you touch this tool if you're doing this technique, okay? Because you're going to be calling out for your mama if you do that, all right? So don't forget, metal gets hot. So I'm going to aim at the actual flower. And now this film here, this material, it doesn't absorb heat. This has a Teflon coating, so that's why I feel safe doing that. And I am pressing quite a bit on this on purpose so that I get that paper to dry a little bit lifted. Okay. Set that aside a second. And now my petals are nice and shaped. So I'm going to apply hot glue here. And if I were going to use stamens, obviously I would not do it this way. I would go ahead and apply them now by making a little hole in the center. So that's another cool thing about these types of flowers, is that you have the option to do that. Whereas if they already had a little hole in the middle, then you'd kind of be a little bit, you know, hard pressed for choices. I think I'm missing an end to this. And I want to have the other end. Where are you? This one. Here it is. Oh, thank you, Mandy. I always say, let me be your enabler friend. That's what I'm here for. Blame it all on me. Tell your husband. It wasn't me, it was Raquel. She made me do it. It's okay. Alright, so I'm doing that. Now, this is getting kind of molded a little bit, but I don't mind that. Of course, I can do that separately. I don't need this for that portion. Woohoo! I don't think my little gun was ready. Sometimes these little guys need to be kind of reawakened. But I like that the little cap has that little needle on there, because then I can kind of unplug that all over again. Aha, voila. Okay, there we are. Okay, so I am going to kind of interlock these, so to speak, so that way you can actually see all of those little stamens. And you also have the option of placing these inside if you want to. I'm going to take a look at how that will come across, because I think it could be really neat. That one. And then the next one. You know what? That's not bad. And I think my cat is destroying my couch as we speak. Naughty little critter. I've never considered taking a cat to a vet and saying, see what you can do about those claws. Which I know, that's a horrific thing to say. I've never considered even thinking that until I had this particular cat that we have now. She has single-handedly just destroyed my furniture. Oh, Mandy, then you know what? Even better. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody. Not that I do, but just saying. All right, so I am adding these little petals. So let me show you guys, for those of you who just got here. You see those? Those also came in the die set. And so what I did was I cut them out of the the Marigold Color Craft Perfect card. Now this is still wet, so it came apart, okay? That's another little thing about watercolor card, is that it doesn't always cooperate. If that's not fully dry, it is not going to stick. So I can tell this is, you know, still quite humid in the center because it's coming apart there. Ah, come on, cooperate with me. But I did want to make these, yeah, that's the only thing, is that it'll start moving around. And I don't know about you guys, but I like it when the petals are nicely staggered. So I'm going to force it, you know, to cooperate here. Trying not to burn myself with that hot glue gun. There we go. All right, so while that's drying, I'm going to move something here because I have too many tools playing around here. I need to make a little bit of room for myself. There we go. Okay. Try to always be really careful with the glue gun. Here we go. Whew. All right, saved myself there. All right, so now I'm going to apply this one. And that's going to give us quite a bit of volume there in the center also. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to use the hot glue. And then again, press as much as possible there. Okay, and I think this is the beginnings of this little, what's going to be this little cluster of flowers. Let me remove that. You get to see the first little flower there. And again, this is one option, because the other ones, if you see here, they use the small ones on their own, and then they use a medium and a small one, just like that. So you don't have to do it like this. I do think it's a pretty option to do so. So let me see, I have 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I have 2 large petals left for this grouping. So I do have options here. I can either do another flower with the really large petals, with far more volume. I think that would look really pretty also. And let's see, 1, 2, and 3. So separate those. Then I can do a little center like that. Or I can do, I think this is what I want to do next. These 2 pieces together. And then do a smaller one with the little orange in the center, and then the little orange in the center. And of course I can do the little pieces on there as well, because I think that would look really cute. And I think this could be one grouping here. I hope you guys would like this. The larger, yes, I think it kind of grounds it a bit. I'm in agreement with you, Mama Pillow, to have those behind it. I think it looks really nice. And don't forget, there's going to be leaves to go along with this as well, okay? So these are quite dry, which is nice, because now I don't have to worry too much about the glue. Just wanting to make sure that I am in frame. I'm just going to continue with the hot glue because it does make life quite a bit easier. And I like to press each layer whenever possible. Let's see here, because I have on, yeah, Mandy, I get you, girlfriend. No worries. Completely understand. And Melissa, yeah. Believe you me, I've been there, done that, and wore that t-shirt. Yeah, it's just like anything else, right? Pros and cons to everything. Okay, so I'm gonna add this one. Allow it to be super duper fluffy. You see that? I love the way that looks. Oh my gosh. And then, because I don't want too much hot glue, because it does get a little excessive, and I'm going to use the liquid glue. Try to shape that a little bit first. And adhere 2 of these together before I place them in there. Okay. I'm looking at my tools here, trying to make sure that I have the right ones. There we go. And then I'm going to use the tip of those little tweezers to kind of guide that center in here. And what you guys are, I think, unable to see in the video is that I'm trying to make sure I don't leave the little glue strings behind when I'm doing this. So I will go back and inspect them a little bit more, okay? But this is the second flower. And if you see all of that little stippling that I had done initially, you can barely even see it now. But it does add a little bit of depth if you lift the petals, for instance, from the side. And not to say that you couldn't add more, but if you see that, when you look at the flower up close, you are able to see some of that texture with the stippling. So I hope you guys are able to see that. So you burn that. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, Mandy, no worries. There's quite a few people here that I think are either bilingual or multilingual. So no, don't ever worry about that, okay, honey? What did Sandra say? Oh, okay. I think I had read that. So just to let you know, those are actually 2 different colors of green, and what I had used was, I did use Distress Oxide in peeled paint, and I also used, let's see here, I used Archival ink in library green, and yeah, I think I reserved the leaf green for the actual leaves. But any one of those or any combination of those is fine. The only thing that of course, that I'm going to repeat is the fact that if you're going to use the oxide inks, once you start adding more water to shape your flower, it's going to do this whole thing where it's going to get all over your hands. Your color might lift. It might not be as intense as you want it to, but there's no saying that you can't combine both, because I did use water-based ink on the foundation of these petals, and then I went around the edges with the Archival in vermilion. So that's what gives it that nice graduated color of a little bit of a darker edge there. And then you can do the same in the center. So that's why I colored those little flowers, the little petals. I colored them quite darker on purpose there. And especially when you do the grouping, then you're really going to see, you know, that intensity of color there. So let's go ahead and adhere these, because this is going to be easy peasy to do the little ones. Yes, the shading does make a huge difference, I have to say. I'm in agreement with that. So, woo, sorry guys, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, I picked up my tweezers, and the that tool came along for the ride. All right, so this isn't going to be exactly placed in the center there, but that's okay. Just a little bit of a lift there. I'm going to press on that, and then I'm going to add the little stamens. The other thing, of course, that you can do is, and I don't remember who it was that asked me, you can add flocking to those little stamens if that's something that you like, to add a bit more texture. In fact, I should have grabbed some before I started the video, but I forgot. That would have looked really cute on this. And these are not centered, and that's giving me frustrating me. Come on, baby. I really like them to be centered as much as possible. I don't know why, but it just does something to my brain when it's not. Okay, so I'm going to do this one. And this one. All right, let me see if I have down here. No. Don't have any flocking nearby. All right, but there's that. And of course, we can do the drops, we can do glitter, we can do, you know, all those things. Now, in the past, on the other flowers, I had added, you know what, let me look at them because I can't remember. For the other ones I added, okay, so I did add a little bit of glitter to these. It wasn't a whole lot. In fact, you can barely tell because it's clear glitter. And then the other ones have no glitter in the center or anything like that. They just have that gold spray on them. So let's take a look at what I have here. I have, I've been looking at this. This is a sparkle spray and blush burst. This has a bit of a silver metallic, you know, mica in it along with the color. So this could be a lot of fun. So this flower die is actually by Elizabeth Craft Designs, and you may be able to find it on scrapbook.com if it's still there, and it is Florals 16. So when you see this kind of cloud at the top there, that blue logo is the Elizabeth Craft Designs. So I think I'm going to do this, and if we don't like it, I can always switch it up. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of this on this same mat. Because variety is the spice of life. And then this one's Pink Carnation, and this is just an old sample of Mica Mist, which is not to be confused with Sparkle Spray. They're both Nuvo products from Tonic Studios, but they are different. And the difference being that the Sparkle Spray does always have like that silver-ish, you know, kind of blend in it, whereas the Mica Mist does not. And this happens to be just a light pink. But it does have that pearlescent color in it, which not everyone likes, but we'll take a look and see what it looks like. So I'm just going to grab a paintbrush, and then I'm going to take that sparkle spray, and I'm going to color those little petals, the marigold color ones, just in the center. And this is going to add a little bit of shine. It's also going to change the color slightly right in the middle there. It's going to start getting quite dark. Let's do this one. And on here I can do just the stamens here and there. Don't have to do all of them. And I did the center also. So that adds a little bit of sparkle. Same here, just here and there. Just a tiny little bit there. Okay. And I actually don't know if I want to use this other one, to be honest. Where's my paper towel? I'm going to grab another one, and this one's this is called Pampas Green. And again, I'm just going to grab a little bit of this because I can pick it up with a paintbrush. Mandy, I can relate to some of that because I learned English in school and by watching television also. Of course, here in the United States, that's not unusual, I would say. All right, so I did make the center of that quite a bit darker. I added that kind of dark pink and also this green, which I think adds a bit of interest. And so I'm going to do the same thing here with just the little stamens there. I'm so tempted to just, you know, pour this out, but I don't want to make a huge mess. Okay. And I really like it on these little ones because it does catch your eye to see that little bit of glimmer, but then see it in a different color. I don't know, it's just a little something different. Okay, I think that's enough shine as far as the centers go. And then of course, whatever's left, can just flick and see where it lands. I don't think it's going to be much because there's not a whole lot there to begin with. But it's a little tiny touch of glimmer, just a tiny touch. I'll show you guys a close-up in just a moment. But I promise you, it's there. It's just very, very subtle, so that way they don't end up, you know, a gaudy mess. Which, of course, is, you know, if that's what makes you happy, then of course that's, you know, that's okay too. But here are the little ones, so let me show you what those look like. Hopefully that looks a little bit more clear if I bring them up. So there's a little bit of that green, there's a little bit of that pink, but the pink is barely noticeable. It does come across more of just of metallic. Yes, we do have very different accents, because I can understand, you know, it's interesting. I was reading a post about that the other day. I can understand all Spanish from all different countries, but we do have different colloquialisms, right? And we have different accents, much like if you're an English speaker from the UK versus New York versus Texas, or, you know, Chicago, you're going to have those different inflections and different nuances, but it's still English, you know? So it's the same thing throughout Latin America. You know, wherever you travel, it's going to be a little bit different. Thank you. I'm so glad you guys like them. So what I can do is, again, I'm going to add now the little leaves to this to make the little grouping. So I always reiterate that adding the green of the leaves makes such a huge difference, because that's really the really nice backdrop to any flower is the color green. And of course you can make, if you were to make these, for instance, for like an autumn project and you got them on hand, let's just say you're the winner, you take these home. Let me zoom out a little bit. Sorry guys. Then if you want to use them on a fall project instead of, you know, something tropical, let's say, then you can do with the same technique of, you know, grabbing the brush and watering down some ink and just flick it with some brown inks, you know, or take a dauber and add a little bit of brown around all the edges. You know, that tea, what's the name of that ink? Um, the infamous vintage photo or you know those tea colored inks. You can definitely do that and then give yourself a little bit more depth in that sense. Or you could keep it with the reds and add a little more intensity of red on that. So there's no saying that you couldn't do something like that. So let me take a look here. Yeah, I've been told back to the whole Spanish thing. I was was showing my husband this joke. It was a comedian. He was saying that Puerto Ricans sound like they're in a like they're on a time limit when they speak. But because I didn't grow up in Puerto Rico, I don't actually speak fast Spanish. I've been told that I speak quite slow, and I that's probably because I have to think, you know, a little bit more, seeing as I'm mostly speaking English all the time. Oh, Sandra, yeah, I can add it to your card. You're sweet. Yeah, I'm hoping that this is incentive for people to join in on the channel and subscribe. Okay, so just to let you guys know, because I forgot to mention this, I'm just taking my little paintbrush here and curling that tip of that leaf. All right, I was doing it unconsciously. So I was reading your comments. And then take the other end and you can curl it in the opposite direction. So that's just a really easy way to shape a leaf. Yes. The Dominicans, girl, I'm like, you need to write that down because I don't know what you just said. They speak so fast. Whereas Mexicans are known for their kind of more lax, like, órale. I love that, by the way. ¿Cómo estás, chiquita? um, but it can sound more like singing, right? I love it. And then Cubans, that the Spanish is like, okay, whatever they said, it sounds like you're in trouble. It's very serious. It's very kind of, you know, the cadence is very cut and dry. But it really depends on, yeah, they drag it out. ¿Cómo estás? I joke around with my husband and I pretend to be Mexican when I speak to him with the accent. So I'll say, hola, güerito. Muévete pues. Yes, definitely. If there's excitement, then that's a whole different story. I would agree with that. All right, so I'm just adding these with hot glue, obviously. And I'm just going to pull away whatever little extra strings. I don't want to give anybody anything that's messy. But again, now, just to, I know it's going to be repetitive in every video, but just to reiterate, as far as the giveaway is concerned, they're all going to be given to the same winner, and it's going to be once I reach 5,000 subscribers on this channel. And so what I'm trying to do is just let people know, first of all, know about the channel, know about, okay, what type of videos you can find here. I'm hoping that they're educational, always on, you know, a very lighthearted and positive mood. You guys know I always say this, I keep it clean. I want you to be able to watch these videos if you have children or grandchildren in the room. That way you don't have to worry about what's going to come out of my mouth or anything like that. It's if it doesn't honor God, it's not going to be said on this channel. Basically, that's how I'm going to explain that. But I do hope that you guys are able to see the video and take something away from it. And of course, if it doesn't happen from me, that it could be from the chat, that maybe there's someone in the chat that you've learned something from as well. So these are going to go in here. For anyone who wants to stick around, I am going to keep making the other little grouping of flowers because, as I have said, one's going to go for the giveaway, the other one I'm going to keep. But this, I think, would be a really pretty grouping. If you want to use it for home decor, here's another tip. You can take pipe cleaners and then just take floral tape and coil it around a pipe cleaner and give yourself a background to something like this. And oh, you know what? Let me show you real quick. Where's my frame? I'll be right back. I heard my feet as I'm walking away, and I'm like, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Sound like an old lady. Whoosh, whoosh. Okay, so let's just say you were gonna put them on a frame, right? And by the way, Tonic Studios sells a frame like this, so let me zoom out again. A die, I should say. Woohoo. Sorry for the mess on my table. So if you were to make up a frame like this, because you can make this out of paper, you can take a quote, you can take scripture, you can take pictures, you can mix and match both. You can mix and match both. That was not gonna come out. And then you can put all of your little flowers just like that. And look at that. You can add the greenery, as I was just saying. Take a pipe cleaner, wrap it up in some floral tape, and then give yourself some little coils. And that could be a really nice gift to yourself, to a family member, you know. Oh, you're very welcome. Sandra, I was like, stuck to the floor. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I hope this is motivation for you anyway, because sometimes, you know, we visual people, and I'm one of them, we kind of need to see it. We kind of need to see it first to be convinced of what can be done, right? And by the way, if you're curious about this die, this, I don't know if it's still available, but if it does, if I find it on Tonic's site, I'll go ahead and link it below. But I'm going to make another little set because they're here and I don't want to let this go to waste. But you know what? I'm going to refer to the other ones so that way I don't have to think about it. Just going to have these as my little models. And now, mind you, as I had said before, if there's other little items that I find that, you know, go well with this, then I'll go ahead and include it, okay, guys? So that way you don't think it's just gonna be one little box. just to let y'all know. But yeah, you can have so much fun. I love everything about, you know, the differences, the nuances in speech and stuff like that. That's a topic of conversation that I never get tired of. Because as a child, you know, traveling all over the place, my father was in the military, so we lived all over the place. And what did I do with this one? Was this too? See, I already forgot. Oh, no, it was a small, medium, and large. And so we would be the new kids in school wherever, right? Because that's what happens when you're in the military. And you have to learn the colloquialisms. And let me tell you, it can be quite confusing when you're new to a place and you've never heard the terms of speech of the people there and all that good stuff. And you're constantly being asked, where are you from? Where are you from? You're not from here, are you? It's like, yep, that's my childhood in a nutshell. You're not from here. You don't sound like you're from here. So that's what happens, for instance, when I speak Spanish. I don't sound like I'm from anywhere. So people are like, wait, are you from Argentina? Or are you, where are you from? Like, it depends on my mood. Totally depends on the mood I'm in. All right, so that's gonna go here. So this is the, you know, the recap basically. In case you missed it the first time around, this is all I did.
Do you want these mailed?
Ah, see, yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Are you heading to the post office? I need, okay, wait, because, oh, darn it.
Sorry, everybody.
No, it's okay, because I don't have Sandra's address, and she's in the chat, and she's not about to put her address in the chat, but I'm going to mail her this one.
Okay.
So do you want to wait? Is that something that can wait, or?
Yeah, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do. I was just going to.
Yeah, I'll wait. Okay. So, I don't, who was here for yesterday's live? I don't remember. So I know Sandra was, it was Sandra, Tanya, and somebody else. I don't remember now. Oh, Chiquita, it was you. See? Because of your name being different on the email, I forgot. Anyway, those cards, they're probably going to go out tomorrow because I don't have Sandra's address and I don't want to mail 2 different times. That way my, it can all go out at once. Alright, just holding on to that. Okay, so that's the twin to that one. Or no, wait, I didn't do this little part. See, I almost forgot. Here we go. Let's do this one. So, but what are some colloquialisms that you guys know that you know are very particular to where you're from? Because I'm still learning, let me tell you. There are so many phrases that I'm just like, what? What does that mean? Oh, Melissa, thank you. He already walked out. Because we have some phrases in Spanish in Puerto Rico that are very, I don't know, they're kind of fun. That if you're a non-Spanish speaker or just not from there, you might not understand at all what's being said. Okay, so that's going to be super nice and full there. Did I do the same thing here? Yeah, I did. I don't know why I thought I hadn't. Okay. Nice and full in the center. And this one got a large leaf. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't click away because if I could, then I would just tell my husband, I would pass him a little note. Oh, okay. So, Tanya, hey, it's never too late to learn something new, Tanya. That's the one thing I'll tell you. So, Sandra, did you email me or did you send me your address via Insta? Because I did not get it through Instagram, just to let you know. And the reason I whatchamacallit? I want to make sure because like last week I had issues with my internet. Oh, it was so bad. And yeah, I think it was Mandy had sent me an email and I didn't even receive any emails that day at all. And I felt awful because I was like, are you kidding me? And I even told her, I said, I wonder how many other emails I didn't even get because it was an entire day of no emails whatsoever. And we all know that never happens. So I was like, uh-oh. But I'm glad she mentioned it to me via, you know, chat because otherwise I would not have even found out. So by all means, guys, never feel shy about messaging me because the worst thing that can happen is that I won't see your message for maybe a day or two, but I'll, you know, I promise not to ignore you. That's not going to happen, you know. It's like I might not be able to answer right away. Oopsie. Oh, I just ripped that. Oh, well. Didn't mean to do that. I guess hot glue really works. Don't worry, there's a fix for everything. I'm just gonna glue them back on. And this is not gonna be for the giveaway, guys. The ones that I ripped are gonna be mine. Poor little flower. Oh well. That's what I get for being too rough. Pobrecita. Poor thing. Oh. Start singing. Ay, como me duele. Some of you know that song. Ah, como una flor. I'm not gonna sing, guys. I'm just messing around. Oh gosh. Ooh, Gina. That sounds awesome. Let us know where. I mean, if that's okay. No such thing as perfection here, guys. It just will never happen. But that's okay. So I always say you improvise, adapt, and overcome. Okay, we'll do that. See, no harm, no foul. No one needs to know that I just ripped the bejesus out of that poor little flower. Oh my gosh. I don't think, yeah, for this one I hadn't put those other little stamens, but I do have, let's see here, I have 2 for the small ones. And I think I have some left over, so I can add another one in here. I think I might just do that. I'll save it for that one. So that way I can make them all the same. Beady beady bum bum. Yeah. That poor child. Oh my gosh. Every time I think about that family and everything that they went through, it's like, wow. Such a beautiful talent. You know, but if anything, you know what I learned from that whole thing? And then now Melissa and I, she's getting the reference, which is Selena, it was Gomez, right? Was that her last name? I want to say it was. She was that super duper famous young woman who was a singer and from Texas and of Mexican descent, who her music just was so universal and everybody loved her and everything. But she had, for those of you who may not have heard this story, I think most people have, she was, sadly, she was killed by the director of her fan club, of all things. How crazy, right? And, again, I know I said I was going to keep this chat always clean here, but this is not a video for children. Anyway, the one thing that I learned from that story, I have to say, is that you always have to be so careful about who your children are surrounded by, because, in fact, I was just reading that a little earlier. There's a proverb regarding flattering lips and how you have to be careful about people who are intentionally telling you what you want to hear, and they're not really being truthful to you. And I think that that's what happened in her case. She had this person who obviously was not right in the head, you know, who told everyone how much she loved her and wanted to head the fan club and all that good stuff, only to then betray her. Oh my gosh. It's just crazy. Okay, I just glued it to my finger. That first round went so well. I have to say, I was all proud of myself and everything, and now look at me. I'm gluing the petals to my fingers. Oh my gosh. Not me, Gina. I rebuke them. I say, get away from me in the name of Jesus. That's what I say to mine. Like that. I may not spray holy water on you, but I'll. No, but in all, you know, to me, it's just like, be careful. That's all. You have to be Wise as a serpent and innocent as a dove. That's all. Just, oh gosh. But the other thing is also that just because you know, just because someone has ill intent over you or things like that, it doesn't mean that you brought it upon yourself or that you were, you know, like, don't equate gullibility and innocence to being dumb either. That's another thing that I would say. Just because a person has innocence in their heart, that doesn't mean they're dumb. It means that they're not capable of thinking of another person's evil, you know? If you're blindsided by someone doing something bad to you, that's a good thing, because then it means that you don't have that in your own heart. And I'm just preaching here now. But that's how I am. I'm gonna say what I think. Yes, by all means, you should ask for discernment. And let me tell you guys, I know that the times that I have done that, woo, baby, oof, yeah. I could have a personal chat about that with anyone who wants to listen, but let me tell you, it's never been, God has never lied to me. That's one thing I'm going to say. God has never once lied about, hey, be careful, walk away, all that good stuff. Oh, man. So, yeah. If anyone cares to know that part of my life, I'm open to chatting about it. It probably wouldn't be on a crafty video, but by all means. I have these two petals over here and I don't know why. What did I do wrong? I think I was supposed to use them on one of these. I might end up using them on that poor little jacked up flower later on, but who knows. I just want to make sure that I know I'm going to add this to that. Those are all taken care of. And I was just going to make one more little one. There was, okay, so I'm not going to name names, but there was an individual one time, and I remember I tried so hard to be the nice person, right? But my mother would say, being nice, again, doesn't mean you have to be in agreement with people to be nice. It doesn't mean that you have to be friends with everybody to be nice. You know, you can decline a friendship if you know that it's dangerous or not good for you. This particular person, I wish from day one I had said, you know what, thanks, but no thanks. But again, I was trying to be nice. And I paid a hefty price for it. Because when it was all said and done, I walked away feeling foolish because I didn't listen to that still small voice, that discernment of, hey, nope, this person's not good for you, you know? And then there's seasonal friends also, right? That doesn't mean that everybody that walks away from a friendship is evil or mean or anything like that. Absolutely, Melissa. Sure thing. Quintanilla, thank you. Not Gomez. Why? Where did I get the Gomez from? I don't know. I just made that up. Sorry, guys. I have no idea who Selena Gomez is. Oh, girl, thank you, Melissa. Yes, you are so right about that. Yeah, it hurts. You know what? And I had another experience that was, and I compare it to this. I compare it to ripping off a Band-Aid, okay? And here's what I'm gonna say, right? That and I know most of you guys did not tune in for this, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, right? When you're a Christian, you are set apart because your life is meant for a different purpose. Now, if you're not a Christian and you don't believe in God, this is not for you. But when you're a Christian, you do answer to God. You do have an accountability to God. And so when God says no, he means no. And it's always for your good. It's always, you know, not because God is a tyrant, but because he knows better. And I had a situation like that. I was trying to be nice. And I knew that God was saying, nope, you shouldn't be there. And I partook in the friendships anyway. And an event happened that caused the entire friendship to fall apart. And this was with a group of people. And when I tell you, I cried tears that were so, oh man, I cried my eyes out for days, right? Because I thought, oh, these were my friends. It was a really difficult time, for more reasons than just that. But in any case, I'm going to tell you, ladies, that, what is it, 10 years later or something like that, one of them contacted me and said, can we have coffee? Oh, man. And she, from her mouth, not mine, she was like, Raquel, you were right. Because of whatever happened. She was like, you were right. And I miss you, you know. So it was kind of, it was bittersweet, of course, you know, because the friendship ended the way that it did and all that. But I had no business being there to begin with, you know. Yes, I've heard that analogy, Gina, and I don't agree with everything that man says, but that is something I would agree with him, you know. That he says that some people are what is it, branch people, some are root people or something like that. Some are there just for a season. And absolutely, that is very true. Some people are just there to help you grow for that moment, and then you have to let go. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't own humans. That's the other thing. It's like you don't own people. So if they decide to walk away, and they've given you everything that they have to give, just, you know, keep a light grasp, because that's okay. All right, so I did the whole flicking on that. The little shine. I'm gonna do it again to the centers. And I hope you guys see how easily these came together when I wasn't doing all the explaining and all that jazz. And of course, I'm not being as careful because I am actually keeping these little samples, unless I change my mind. But my hope is that I can show you how to use these also, right? So let me show you quickly. In fact, for those of you who may not have seen the other samples, and I'm not even being careful about those centers, but the other one, I'm trying to remember now. So this was the very first sample was this, right? The flowers, okay? So you guys, there is the same exact version, because I repeated the same exact steps on the ones that are in that box, you see? Same exact thing, plus all the other ones, okay? Same sizes. Then the second one, oh, I remember now. The second one was the tulips. Woohoo! Ah! It just knocked stuff down. All right, so this was the finished sample of the second one, which was that I added the tulips to this little mini album. And again, those same tulips, same colors and everything are in there. And then today, it's these. So it's up to you guys. What can I make? I'm trying to think. It's 4:30. I don't know. Oh, okay. See, I didn't even know that, Sandra. I had no idea. Selena Gomez. Change the poor woman's name. All right, let me put these back in here. And I'm going to quickly add this one because I did want to do that. I want to make sure it's nice and fluffy. And let's add another one. Like this one. There was one that I didn't cut exactly correctly. So I am going to add this to the center of this one, the one that the winner is going to get. But let me tell you guys, I enjoy this so much. I really do. I really enjoy making the flowers. I think there's such a pretty little addition to, you know, whatever project. And I'm tempted to add these to that black frame I was just showing you guys. All right. So there's that. And then I had my little paintbrush with the color. Let me go ahead and grab it again. So I don't want to make that dull after all that. I'm just going to stick my paintbrush in there and then do that on this. I don't even think this was the same. It's okay. I just realized this is a different pink, but that's okay. It's just going to add a little bit of shine there in the middle. Okay, so let me let those go so that I don't ruin them. And make sure that they're all in there. 1, 2, okay, 4? Was it 4? I don't remember now. Was it 4, guys? 2 little ones, 2 big ones, right? Oh, what is wrong with my brain? I don't even know. Just large, medium, small. Right? Yeah, something like that. I didn't drop one, right? I don't think I did. Okay. Because I'm tempted to put them on here, as I was mentioning earlier, because the contrast is so pretty. But I don't have anything ready for the inside. That's my only issue. It's the only issue I have. I don't have anything for in here right now. Oh wow, Gina, 36 flowers. So yeah, feel free to write on there whose swap that is. Patty, what does Patty go by? I really like the contrast of this. I think it's so pretty. Because then if you see, the more leaves you add, the fuller it starts getting. And I can always make this and then just do the Mommy and Me. Oh, I've heard of her channel, yeah. In fact, I think I've seen her a couple times. That's awesome. Yes, by all means, there's a lot that you can do. Oh my gosh, so much. It's not an exhaustive list, right? So this would be super cute to just then have them trail. I just don't have, the reason I'm being hesitant with this is because I don't have all of the other materials on hand, and I don't want to start a project and then not finish it. So I think what I can do is, my other option would be to maybe do a separate video on how to actually use these. Yeah, but I think, I don't know. I think this is a good enough demo for the day, because it's nearing 5 p.m. where I am. It's 4:30 anyway. But please come back. I'm going to invite you guys to come back, because I'm gonna, you know, end the video here. But I'm gonna invite you guys to come back. What's gonna happen next week is, on Monday, and since Tonic already announced this, then I don't feel bad mentioning it. On Monday is the release of the fairy houses from Tonic Studios. I'm going to have 2 different tutorials for that. I separated mine. So that'll give you one hint. So, oh, for the frame, bear with me. Let me see here. The frame is, I'm almost there. Where is it? Of course, it's in the last place that I look. Okay, so it looks like this. And this is one, and this was released quite a few years ago, but you may even find it secondhand. This is number 3455, 3455, and it is called Tailored Frames Gilded Tranquility Die Set. They had the square one, they had a rectangular one. I don't recall now how many other kinds. And let me show you what this looks like, because it's quite large, right? But here's what's really neat about it is that it has the measurements right on this side. So then that way you can cut it down. For instance, this one was a full measure of the die to create this size. But if I wanted to make a smaller frame, then you just go by the measurement right on the die. And this is just centimeters versus inches. So you can customize the size. And then all it does is give you the paper to fold with the whole mitered corners and everything. And then you have the option the option is this, the centerpiece here, which I have taped. I just left the adhesive on there. But you can take this out if you want to, or you can use it to give yourself that wood texture, which I think is really neat. And I would show you a different one that I made, but that was a gift I made for my son, so I don't have that. You're welcome. And I think, yeah, there are other frames, by the way, but they're part of like mini albums. So Tonic Studios has been doing that. And but that one was a small, I can't recall the name of the mini album, and I apologize. It's just that they send the dies in advance when we're doing projects and things like that, so it's hard to keep track of all the names. Oh, wonderful, Gina. So then there's a link below because I do have affiliate links for Craft Stash. There's a link below for Craft Stash. So if they have it, use my link. But yeah, it's a wonderful set because of the fact that you can vary it. And one really cool thing you can do, of course, you know, because I'm showing it, you know, in the horizontal perspective, but you can do the vertical, and then you can do groupings. And for instance, this one is, let me tell you how many inches wide. Let's see here. This one happens to be 6 inches wide by 10.5. So that's a pretty substantial size if you're doing, especially if you're doing a grouping. And you guys know, if you have those machines, like I happen to have the Cricut, you know, you can cut out or do print and cut and then use this as the frame. So many different things that you can do. Thank you. I just, if I were to do it, the other thing I'm questioning is, do I want to do it on black? But I don't know, because I do have black frames in this room also. I just want to make sure that I have the background first. So boo on me, I don't have anything to put in here. Otherwise, I'd be gluing those right now. But when I complete it, I'll be sure to share pictures, whether it be on the Facebook group or actually probably all of them on Instagram and everything. So don't forget that my handle is the same on everything, all social media. It's going to be Paints and Glitter. So if you type at Paints and Glitter, or, you know, Instagram, whatever, Paints and Glitter, you'll find me there and all that good stuff. Yeah, a cream color would look really pretty also. But here's, you know, because I like mixed media, I'd more than likely add a bunch of stuff to the actual frame and make it super, you know, like patina and aged and all that good stuff. But I just don't have the time to do that right now because I have been here for a while already. It's been an hour. So what I'll do is I'm going to invite you guys, please come back next week. I'm going to have videos Monday through Thursday. I think I might actually skip Friday just because it's Good Friday. But let me tell you, the content is going to be fun. The videos are going to be awesome. Community page. Yeah, you know, Mama Pillow, thank you for telling me that, because I always forget that that even is there. In the past when I've shared things on the community page, I've had like maybe 2 reactions. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, am I being blacklisted? What's going on? I am okay. Thank you, Melissa. I just have to be really careful because yesterday I sat for quite a while, and now for instance when I get up from here, I'm going to have to go rest. So I have to watch, my pain threshold. So I think you can tell I start out with high energy and then I'm like, I start dwindling down, and it's because of that. Um but yeah, I think I've mentioned everything. If you like 3D crafts, if you like other kinds of crafts, and I'm not giving specifics, please come back next week. And it's going to be 8 a.m. Oh, thank you, Mama Pillow. Thank you for that. 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is noon, Great Britain time. I don't know what other timelines there are, whatever, however you say it, time zones. I don't know all of the other ones, so I apologize for that. But you can do the conversion. You're very, very welcome. I hope you guys have a blessed weekend. And by all means, if you need to reach out, you can always find me at paintsandglitter@gmail.com. And then, Sandra, I'm going to be looking for your address. And then tomorrow, God willing, all of those cards are going to be in the mail. So yes, please, 11 thumbs up. That would do me well. um, yeah, Sandra, I'm awful about that. I'm so sorry. I need to start doing that. I'm going to be taking notes. I do want to do better about that. Awesome. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, then I'll leave you guys here. And as I always say, I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. Thank you so much for joining me. Ciao, ciao.